the man, the myth, the legend, Eladio Quintero, you guys. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Tony Quintero coming from you live, San Luis Obispo, California, the happiest place in the United States, according to Oprah Winfrey. Check it out. We got my Cal Poly Construction Management hard hat. We got the Berkeley shirt on. We got the Hawaiian necklace on, you guys. I'm excited today because I'm going to talk about the Mexican immigrant in the United States. That's right. The man, the myth, the legend, Eladio Quintero. My father, the man I love, the man I look up to, the man that gives me inspiration all the time. I remember in high school, I would write speeches about this guy because he would tell me his stories, what he came from. My cousins would tell me, my aunts would tell me, my grandma, my mom, my uncles. Everyone was telling me about this Eladio Quintero, the guy that I knew as a father, how amazing he was. I was like, man, that guy's my dad. I know him, but I didn't know all of these things about him. You guys, they would tell me stories about how he came from Mexico. He grew up very poor. My grandmother and my grandfather, Silvino and Enriqueta Quintero Espinosa, they had 18 kids. 18, that's 10 plus 8. 10 plus 8 kids. 18 kids, you guys. It's bonkers. I love telling people how big my family is because people go, whoa. 18 kids in Mexico, and it's hard to feed 18 kids in Mexico, you guys. So my dad actually went to elementary school, middle school, but he had to drop out in 6th grade because he had to till the farm. He had to take care of business. He had to help his father out, him and his brothers, and they were hustling, man. No education because obviously he had to drop out and start working. From what I know, he did that for most of his life, his teen years, just hustling on the farm. Then the next thing I know about him is he had a job as a bus driver, and he actually got, I know that because he tells me that he used to drive a bus and he actually flipped it over with people inside, and he got, I don't know if he got in trouble, what the deal was, but that's a pretty gnarly story. And then I remember my aunt, his sister Cristina, my tia, she makes the best pavo in chile verde, which is turkey in green chili, chile verde. Oh, so good. But she told me that he would come home from work from the main city of Mexico and with newspaper that was English, and he would tell everybody, you guys, I'm going to learn English one day. I'm going to learn English one day. And everybody would laugh at him. Everybody would say, yeah, right, dude. You're not going to learn no English, dude. But it was his goal. He wanted to come to the United States. He heard about the land of the opportunity, land of the great, land of the free, land of making some money, which is his goal and was his goal, and that's what he came for. And I remember him telling me that he asked his dad, hey, Dad, we didn't ask him. He told him, hey, Dad, I'm out of here, man. I'm gone. His dad didn't approve. His mom didn't approve. A couple months later, I think that they financed him, though. He came to the United States. He started working regular job, immigrant. I believe it was probably illegal. You don't need to know that, but you do need to know that. This is just a story, raw story of Eladio Quintero. He came here, and Ronald Reagan, when he became president, started to give people their green cards, and my dad got one. So he became legal, just working regular factory job. I believe he was making regular paintings such as this one. You know, just regular stuff, you guys. He worked in the factory making a couple bucks an hour, and pretty much he ended up just figuring things out, ended up going into construction, installing marble and granite for a man. Over many years, figured it out. He would go to night school as a Spanish speaker and learn English, and he would come back to work the next day and ask one of his co-workers, hey, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Can you help me pronounce this word? So he would practice at work, and he figured it out, you guys. He learned the English. He, remember that newspaper, hey, I'm going to learn English? He learned English. And so it's super exciting just knowing that that happened, just because that gave him a jump above everybody else. He was business minded, I suppose, because he remembers looking at his boss who was doing the construction marble and granite installation and seeing, I can do exactly what my boss is doing. I could say those exact words. I can make a sale. And that's what triggered it all. He started Expert Marble and Granite. Let me grab you guys a business card. But Expert Marble and Granite, pretty much he started it in 1983. Expert Marble and Granite. Come on, Mr. Focus. There you go. Eladio Quintero, Tony Quintero, 309 Harding Avenue. There's our phone numbers. But yeah, you guys can see business since 1983. So exciting of what came out of this. He's owned this business for what, way over 30 years now, and he made a lot of money just making that decision. I know English. I can do exactly what my boss is doing, and that's why this United States is a land of opportunity, you guys. Immigrant, got his papers, learned English, said I could do exactly what my boss is doing, and did it, you guys. He became massively successful, not only in business, but also in relationships. He actually was, what I know, pretty big leader in our family. He helped pay for people to come over to the United States, his mom, sisters, brothers, my mother, wife, his wife, Juliana Quintero, Martinez Espinosa, Ortega. And pretty much what ended up happening was they lived a humble life, you guys. They lived at that address, 309 Harding Avenue, our house now, and a small house, but there were multiple families in there. I remember as a kid, multiple families in there, kids running everywhere. My dad and my mom, my grandmother lived with us, uncles lived with us, my cousins, so my uncle and aunts would live with us. We all lived in one house. Everybody had their own bedroom. Whole families. I remember, shoot, there was 7 of us in one bedroom, you guys. A bedroom probably just as big as this bedroom. And pretty much, you know, humble life. Everybody worked together, that community. I actually was reading Outliers. I don't know if you guys have read that book, but it talks about, the very first story is about a community of immigrants from somewhere, I think Ireland or somewhere, and they had way better health than most other people in America, and they were trying to study why. Is it biological? Is it what they're eating? But they actually found out that it was emotional. It was because they had a strong community, so they had less stress. They would actually talk to each other, and that's how I grew up, man, with a big community. That's why I'm really love being around people, and pretty much that's how they grew up. That's how I grew up. I remember we had peacocks running around everywhere, kids everywhere, huge family, if you can imagine, huge parties all the time. And I remember my grandma recently passed away a couple of years ago, and that was pretty hard for the whole family. She was literally like the foundation for the family. She kept everybody together. All the parties were over at our house because we expanded it. They ended up building and buying and expanding the house that we live in now, and we would have parties there because everybody would love to be together as a family, and we still do. We just finished having Thanksgiving, such a good time. Some family are split up just because everybody started growing their own family and moving out, which is perfectly cool. We love them all. We're together in spirit. We love each other, but we still get together. We love each other. We chat all the time because we grew up together. And so pretty much, I remember when my grandmother passed away, I heard a lot of stories about my father. The day, probably like 2 years before, while she was sick, people would come visit, aunts and uncles from all over the place, and they would just tell me about my father and how he was a leader, how some of my aunts looked up to my father as their own father. His sisters would literally see him as a father. He gave them wisdom, he gave them counsel, he took care of them, he provided for them. He not only provided for my family, but he provided for his brothers and sisters. And I think that's super biblical, you guys. The Bible says if you can't even provide for your own family, you're worse than an unbeliever. He is an unbeliever, but man, if you're a Christian and you're not even providing for your family, man, you're worse than an unbeliever. Come on, you guys. Even unbelievers provide for their own family. Let's do it. That's why we have to be men and provide for our families. He's a great example of that. And they would just tell me stories of how he literally led the entire family, and I can totally see that he's such a great leader. By the grace of God, I learned under him, and I always got to experience his leadership. And so not naturally, I've learned what he does and seen what he does and studied what he does. So that's why I have, people would say God given, but definitely the Lord put him in my life so that I can learn how to lead. Still developing that, obviously. And pretty much I heard all these great stories about this immigrant who came from Mexico to the United States, the land of the opportunity, and he ended up doing great, you guys. America is a great place to have opportunity. Wearing my Berkeley shirt, Cal Poly, Hawaii. You guys, he has one son, Alex Quintero, my little brother. He just turned 19 years old. He's studying at Berkeley, UC Berkeley. That's right. It's like the Ivy League of California. So is Cal Poly. Cal Poly is known as the Ivy League of California. Two major universities that we were able to study at, because he was able to inspire us and drive us to get to where we wanted to be. If he could do it, I figured out if he could do it as an immigrant who only got a 6th grade education, if he could become successful, you guys, I could become successful. My brother could become successful. All of our family could become successful. You can become successful, you guys. And it's just inspiration, just understanding where they come from, where they're going, and it's really inspiring. I look up to the man, and I love the man. He's a great man. Definitely want to continue to educate myself under him, and while I'm at it, learn more stories, learn more about him and where he's going, where he's been, and how he is. So I appreciate you guys. If you haven't subscribed, if you like the video, if you like that story, subscribe now. I'm going to be sharing a lot more things about a lot of different aspects of life: business, finances, physical health, relationships, and your spiritual walk, you guys. Subscribe now. Tony Quintero. Yay, yay.